Hey, Vanessa! Guess what? I got promoted at work today. I can't believe it! Oh, wow, Helen. That's amazing. Congratulations. You totally deserve it. Thanks, Vanessa. Hey, since you're the best sister-in-law ever, can you do me a favor? I've been eyeing this really cute handbag, but it's quite expensive. Do you think you can get it for me? Well, Helen, I'm really happy for you, but I have to be honest. I'm not sure if I can afford an expensive handbag right now. Things have been a bit tight lately. Oh, come on, Vanessa! You and Hudson are doing just fine financially. I'm sure you can manage it. Pretty please? Well, I understand it's a special occasion for you, but it's just that it makes me feel uneasy to spend so much on a handbag. Oh, you're being too modest, Vanessa. It's just a small splurge for a big celebration. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Alright, Helen, if it means that much to you, I'll get you the handbag. Yay! You're the best, Vanessa! Thank you so much. You're going to make me the happiest woman ever. Hey, Hudson. I need to talk to you. It's about Helen.
What's up, Vanessa? Is everything okay?
Well, Helen texted me earlier about her promotion at work, and I congratulated her. But then she asked me to get her an expensive handbag as a present.
Wait, what? That's strange. Helen has only been working at her new job for about 3 months. There's no way she got a promotion already.
Right? That's exactly what I thought. And it doesn't end there. She even asked me for 4 different expensive presents in just a few months, all for different occasions.
4 presents? This doesn't sound right, Vanessa.
Sorry if I'm making this awkward though. She's your sister after all. I'm just uneasy.
I mean, it's not okay for Helen to keep asking you for things like that, especially if she's making up promotions and taking advantage of you.
Thanks for being understanding. I just wanted to be honest with you about it. I don't want any secrets between us.
You did the right thing telling me. I wanted to know that I'm on your side. And I don't think it's okay for Helen to put you in this position. We'll figure out a way to address this together.
Thank you, Hudson. It means a lot to me. I just hope we can find a solution without causing any conflicts within the family.
We'll handle it delicately, Vanessa. Family's important, but so is our own boundaries. We'll find the right balance.
I can't believe you talked to Hudson about our conversation. I'm so pissed and hurt right now. How could you do that to me? Helen, I'm really sorry if it came across that way. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't? Explain yourself. I just felt it was important to be open with Hudson about what was going on. I hope you can understand the tough situation I was in. No, Vanessa. I don't understand at all. We're family, and family should support each other. I can't believe you don't want to do something as simple as buying me a few things I like. Helen, it's not about wanting to do things for you. It's about making sure we're all comfortable. I believe there are other ways to show affection and support besides expensive gifts. Other ways? Like what? Are you saying that my happiness doesn't matter to you? No, Helen, that's not what I'm saying at all. I care about your happiness, but it shouldn't solely depend on material possessions. I can't believe you're saying this, Vanessa. I thought you were different. I thought you understood me. Helen, please, try to see things from my perspective. I want us to have a strong bond. I'm sorry if my viewpoint hurts you, but I hope you can find it in your heart to understand. I need some time to think about this, Vanessa. I'm really hurt right now. Don't expect me to just get over it easily. Take all the time you need. Just know that my intentions were never to hurt you. We'll see, Vanessa. We'll see.
Hey, Vanessa. Is everything okay? I just talked to Helen, and she mentioned something about being upset.
Hey, Hudson. Yeah, Helen seemed upset, but I tried my best to handle the situation.
Well, I honestly think she just needs to grow up a bit. Who asked their sister-in-law for presents like that? You're not Santa Claus.
You're funny. This is why I married you.
Speaking of marriage, I have some news for you. Remember how we never got a chance to go on our honeymoon? Well, I've been planning a surprise trip for us.
Really? Oh my goodness, Hudson! That's amazing! Where are we going?
We're going to Maldives. I thought it would be perfect destination for our long-awaited honeymoon.
Oh wow, I've always dreamed of going there. I can't believe you planned this for us.
I knew you'd be thrilled. We leave in 2 weeks. I've taken care of everything. So all you need to do is pack your bags and get ready for an incredible time together.
Thank you, Hudson. This means the world to me. I can't wait for our romantic getaway.
It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yes, Nellie, we're leaving in a few weeks.
I can't believe this. How can you afford to go such an expensive place without even getting your sister-in-law some nice presents?
Nellie, I understand that you may be upset, but the trip to the Maldives was planned by Hudson as a surprise for our long-delayed honeymoon. It's not about intentionally leaving anyone out.
Oh, don't give me that excuse, Vanessa. You're going on a luxurious vacation. We can't even get Helen something nice. You're being heartless and selfish.
Nellie, please try to understand. The trip was Hudson's idea, and it's something we've been wanting to do for a long time. Been trying to find balance between our financial responsibilities and personal desires.
I don't want to hear your excuses. Family should take care of each other. And you're failing to do that. It's clear where your priorities lies.
Nellie, I'm sorry if it seems that way to you. Nellie, I'm sorry if it seems that way to you. But we all have different financial situations and priorities.
You don't understand, Vanessa. I never thought that you would become so distant and uncaring. I don't even know who you are anymore.
Nellie, I'm sorry if you feel that way. Can we talk about this in person? Hudson, have you talked to your mom?
I just got off the phone with her. I'm sorry for the drama.
It's not your fault. I'm really just upset about what your mom said. I can't believe she would think that way about us.
I know, Vanessa, and I'm sorry. Please, don't let her words get to you. I promise I'll talk to her again and sort things out.
It just hurts, Hudson. I never thought she would have such a negative perception of me.
I'm so sorry again. Sometimes she has her own way of expressing herself. But please know that I'm on your...
Hudson, I appreciate you standing up for us. It's just that the whole situation caught me off guard.
I know, but let's not let overshadow our plans. We still go to the Maldives. Let's push things back a little. I want to make sure I have enough time to settle things with my family and ensure that everything is okay.
That sounds like a good plan, Hudson. I'm looking forward to our trip, even if it's delayed.
Listen, I never want you to feel caught in the middle. We'll work through this together. Our trip to the Maldives will happen. We'll make sure everything is in the right place before we go.
Yeah, I trust us.
Vanessa, guess what? You won't believe what just happened.
Oh, Helen! You sound really excited. It must be a good news. Tell me.
I just got engaged, Vanessa. My boyfriend proposed to me and I said yes. I'm over the moon right now.
Oh my goodness, Helen! That's incredible! I'm so happy for you. Congratulations!
Thank you, Vanessa. I wanted to share this moment with you because you're an important part of my life. By the way, I wanted to invite you to my bachelorette trip. It would mean the world to me if you could come.
Wow, Helen! I'm truly honored to be invited. Of course, I'll be there to celebrate with you.
You know, I just really wanted to move past everything and give us an opportunity to get to know each other better. We'll create positive memories together on the trip and make up for what happened.
Helen, I appreciate that so much. I'm looking forward to spending time with you and being part of your party.
That means a lot, Vanessa. I can't wait for the bachelorette trip.
Congratulations again on your engagement. And let the celebrations begin. Hey, Hudson, have you heard the news? Helen just got engaged.
Yeah, she told me about it. It's great news.
I'm really happy for her. Oh, and by the way, she invited me to her bachelorette trip, which is just 4 days before our Maldives trip.
4 days before? That's cutting it really close, Vanessa. Are you sure you can handle such an intense schedule?
I know it's going to be hectic, but I want to make an effort to get along with your family. It's important for me to be there for Helen. After the things we went through.
I understand your intentions, Vanessa. But I'm concerned about your health and work. It might put a lot of stress on you. Is there a way we can rearrange things? Unfortunately, Helen has already made the plans and I don't want to let her down, but I promise I'll take care of myself and manage my workload efficiently. It's just a few intense days and then we can relax. Be happy. I really appreciate that you're making an effort to get close to her. Plus, it'll be fun. I heard she's running a private island or something. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad to hear that, Vanessa. I'll make it up to you by being extra sweet and caring during our trip. Not that I already am.
Well, I hope that everything will work out well. I love you.
I love you too, Vanessa.
Hey, Helen! I'm really sorry, but I won't be able to make it to dinner tonight. I have a lot of work to catch up before our Maldives trip next week.
Oh, that's alright, Vanessa. Don't worry about it. You can make it up to me in other ways.
Thank you for being understanding, Helen. If I finish my work early, I'll definitely join the party later tonight. I don't want to miss out the fun.
That sounds great, Vanessa. Just do what you need to do.
I'm glad you're being so understanding, Helen. It means a lot to me. Have a fantastic dinner, and I'll see you later.
Thank you, Vanessa. Take your time. I will save a spot for you. Vanessa, where are you? Why haven't you joined us yet?
Helen, I'm really sorry, but I still have another report to go through. I won't be able to make it tonight. I promise I'll join you all as soon as I'm done.
This is unbelievable, Vanessa. Can't you just take a break for once and have some fun?
Helen, I've already put a lot of my work on hold to be here. This is the first and only activity on this trip that I'll miss. I promise.
I don't care about your work, Vanessa. You're my sister-in-law. You're supposed to be here. You're ruining everything.
I'm sorry it feels that way, Helen. I never intended to ruin anything. I've been trying my best to balance work and this trip. I'm doing everything I—
Vanessa, we wanted you here and now you're stuck with the bill. Who's going to pick up the tab and pay for everything?
Wait, what do you mean, Helen?
Who's supposed to pay now?
I can't believe you expect me to pay for everything. Is it why you wanted me to be here?
Oh, so now you're going to act like you have no obligation? You're always talking about family and support. When it comes to helping out, you're nowhere to be found.
Helen, that's not fair. Expect me to cover all the expenses without even discussing it is unreasonable.
I don't want to hear your excuses, Vanessa. You said you're going to make it up for me.
Now you're twisting my words.
I don't want you at the party anymore. Just stay away from us.
Helen, please calm down. Let's not let this escalate further. I'll be here to talk when you're ready.
I don't want to talk to you, Vanessa. You're selfish and only care about yourself. Don't bother coming back. We don't need you.
Helen, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope we can find a way to resolve this. But for now, I'll respect your wishes. Hudson, something terrible just happened. Helen and I had a huge argument. She got really upset because I couldn't join them for the party, and she accused me of not wanting to pay for everything.
Oh no, Vanessa, I'm so sorry. I can't believe she would say such things. It's not fair to put that kind of pressure on you.
It's just really disheartening to have things turn out this way.
I'll take care of the bills for tonight, Vanessa. You don't have to worry about anything. And remember, Helen might be just too drunk to think straight. It could be the alcohol talking.
I feel uneasy about the situation, but I want to ruin the fun for everyone else. I'll try to navigate through it until the trip is over.
Just focus on enjoying the rest of the trip as much as you can. We'll deal with this later when we're back. I'm here for you, and we'll get through this together.
Thank you, Hudson. I miss you.
I'll see you really soon, okay?
Alright. Hey, Helen? Can we meet to talk it out? Helen, let's not play the quiet game. We can talk through it, yeah? Helen, why has everyone in the bridal party left? Where are you? Hudson, something terrible has happened. I woke up this morning and everyone is gone. Helen isn't responding to my messages and I don't know where anyone went.
What do you mean they're gone, Vanessa? Did they leave without—
a private island and a private jet for this trip?
And if I wanted to get out of here, I might have to wait for a few days. I don't want to miss our Maldives trip. This is unbelievable. How could Helen do something like this? I try to contact her. Hold on for a minute, alright? She's not responding to me either. I'm really worried, Hudson. I don't know what to do. Can't believe Helen would just leave me here without any explanation. I thought we were trying to mend things between us. It's not fair to you at all. I'll keep trying to reach Helen and figure out what's going on. In the meantime, stay safe and try to find out if anyone left any information behind. Thank you, Hudson. I'll try to gather any information I can. I just hope the situation gets resolved soon. Nellie, do you have any idea where Helen went? I woke up and everyone is gone. I'm really worried. Oh, Vanessa. So you finally realize everyone is gone. Looks like I'm not the only one tired of you. Excuse me? How could you say that? What's happening? Well, let me tell you, I'm the one who booked the island for Helen. And guess what? I used Hudson's saving for your precious Maldives trip. What? How did you get access to Hudson's saving? That's his hard-earned money, Nellie. Hudson agreed to it, Vanessa. He trusts me with his finances, unlike you. This is unbelievable, Nellie. Why would Hudson agree to something like that without even discussing it with me? This is our trip. Hudson trusts me because he knows I have his best interests at heart. Maybe he's starting to realize that you're just a selfish, frugal woman. Using his savings without his knowledge or consent is not the right way to prove a point. This is manipulative and cruel. You don't seem to understand, Vanessa. This is about teaching you a lesson. Maybe if you regret losing out on the Maldives trip, you'll learn to appreciate Helen. This is not how you teach someone a lesson, Nellie. I don't deserve this treatment. Well, maybe it's time for you to reflect on your actions and how you've treated Helen. Maybe you'll think twice before mistreating your family again. I don't know what has gotten into you, Nellie, but this is not how family's supposed to treat each other. Sue yourself, Vanessa. Hudson, something unbelievable just happened. Nellie revealed that she booked the island for Helen using your savings for our Maldives trip. I can't believe this. Please, we need to talk. Half an hour. Please, this is important. I need to know what's going on and how we can handle this together. Hudson, I'm really worried. Why aren't you responding? I need you right now. Hudson, don't leave me in the dark. Tell me what's going on. Vanessa, I'm so sorry for not responding earlier. My phone didn't have reception on the helicopter. Where are you right now? Hudson, I've been so worried. I'm still on the island. What's going on? What helicopter? I have arranged a helicopter for you to get out of there. You'll be able to leave the island soon. Oh, Hudson, thank you. I've been so confused and concerned. What about Nellie? Did you see my text from earlier? After our previous conversations, I started to have doubts about Nellie's intention. I took proactive measures and severed her access to my accounts. She has no rights to use my money anymore, and those checks she's been writing on my behalf will eventually bounce. That's a relief to hear, Hudson. I never imagined she would go to such great lengths to cause trouble for Helen. I was so worried about the financial consequences. I understand, Vanessa. I didn't expect her to stoop this low either. But don't worry. We'll handle the financial fallout together. Right now, the priority is your safety and getting you out of there. Thank you for taking care of everything, Hudson. I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Really, this has been so much to handle. You don't have to thank me, Vanessa. Just hang in there a little longer. I will find you. I love you, Vanessa. I love you too, Hudson. Thank you for being my rock.
Vanessa? Ron, are you behind this?
Helen, let's get the facts straight. What you and Nellie were doing was stealing from Hudson. I had nothing to do with it. It was Hudson's decision to cut off access to his accounts and stop the misuse of his money.
This is all you're doing, Vanessa. You turned Hudson against us. I can't believe you would go to such lengths to sabotage me.
Helen, I have not done anything to sabotage you. Hudson made a conscious decision to protect himself. I had no involvement in it.
You always find a way to play the victim, don't you? I can't believe I ever thought we could have a real sisterly bond. You're just out to ruin everything.
Helen, I've tried to be understanding and supportive, but what you and Nellie were doing was unacceptable.
You're just jealous, Vanessa. You've always been jealous of me. And now you're trying to bring me down. Jealous of me. And now you're trying to bring me down. Well, it won't work. I'm going to have the most lavish wedding, and you'll be sorry for missing out.
Helen, I'm not jealous of you. I have my own life, my own dreams, and my own priorities. I wish you luck with your wedding plans, but I won't engage in this toxic back and forth anymore. Take care. After Nellie misused Hudson's money, Helen had a huge debt to repay. She had to work hard and even had to postpone her fancy wedding because she couldn't afford it anymore. It was tough for her, but I thought she had a lesson to learn. Meanwhile, Hudson and I continued to enjoy our comfortable life. We earned it through hard work and honesty. We decided not to help Helen unless she admitted her mistakes and said sorry. Sadly, that never happened. But Hudson and I found strength in our love and support for each other. Life has its challenges, but we faced them with love and so much hope.
Zoe, are you there? There's something important I need to tell you. I know your dad said I couldn't tell you this, but I think it's unfair to keep this a secret from you. Yes, I'm here. What is it that's so important, Eden? Well, it's about your dad. Seriously, I don't know where to start, but I feel like I have to tell you that your dad's health is in a very critical condition. He's in the terminal phase of a heart failure, and his condition is deteriorating at an alarming rate. I asked him to go to the hospital, but he wanted to stay home. I think he also knows that his time is running out. What? Why all of a sudden? A mere few weeks ago, when I last saw him, he seemed to be in good spirits and full of energy. How come his condition worsened so quickly? I just can't believe this. He was deliberately pretending to be okay so you won't have any suspicions on his condition. In reality, he was suffering from a lot of chest pain and fatigue. What a brave man, to think he would go to such length to protect you from all the possible emotional damage. I know that it's difficult to process all of this, but it's still an inevitable truth. I knew that he was dealing with heart failure for a long time now, but I didn't anticipate that this day would come so quickly. Honestly, you should have told me about my dad's condition way sooner, Eden. I really don't understand why my dad told you to keep his illness a secret from me. Zoe, you know Henry loves you more than anything in the world. He didn't want to hurt your feelings. He knew that if you learned of his illness, you would be devastated. Your dad didn't want to worry you, so he kept his health problems a secret. How could he possibly conceal such a grave matter from me? He should know that I love him just as much as he loves me, and that keeping his condition from me won't help me cope with tragedy any better. I know, I told him the same thing, but despite how many times I tried to talk him out of his opinion, he insisted that I maintain my silence and not inform you of his illness. Well, now that you have told me about it, can I at least pay my dad a visit? I won't just sit around and do nothing while my father is fighting for his life. Zoe, I know that you want to see your father as soon as possible. However, if you were to appear at our home at this time, it would make me a traitor to his wishes, and I would never want that. You know, I gave him my words, and I can't just simply break my promise with him. What should I do now? Should I just watch as his life slowly comes to an end without doing anything? What kind of daughter would do something like that to her own father? Zoe, I know what you're going through right now. I have all the sympathy in the world for you. But don't be too worried. I'll keep you constantly informed about your dad's situation. What if I just come to his mansion without his consent? I could make it like a casual visit that he won't have anything to say about it. Please, Eden, I want to be with my father during this most challenging time in his life. I'm sure he would be more than happy to see his daughter. No, Zoe, I told you, you can't do that, or else your dad would be boiling mad at me. You already know how short-tempered your dad is, and how scary he would become when he loses his composure. especially when it's something that it has to do with you. I know that you're feeling confused and scared, but bear in mind that I'm always here for you during this difficult time. But Eden, how can I make it seem like nothing and ignore my dad, knowing that he's suffering from so much misery? Honey, I told you, I'll make sure that you don't miss any important updates on your dad's medical condition. All you need to do right now is to clear your head, pray, and hope for the best for your father. He's a tough man. Although the chances are slim, he hasn't given up on his life yet. Fine, I understand that it's impossible for me to visit my father. However, I don't want to trouble you too much about my father's condition. So can you please at least provide me with contact details of his private doctor, Mr. Davis? I just want to know more information on my father's medical prescriptions and his current condition. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mr. Davis no longer works as your dad's private doctor anymore. He told us that he was experiencing some family difficulties and resigned shortly thereafter. Now, Dr. Brown is in charge of supervising your dad's health. Oh, okay. Would you be so kind as to give me Dr. Brown's phone number so I can have a word with him? Please send me as soon as possible because this is really important for me. Honey, you don't need to worry yourself too much with your father's treatment by contacting his private doctor. Me and Dr. Brown have everything under control. We always keep a close eye on Henry's situation and immediately interfere if anything goes wrong. I can't help but think that you're doubting my ability to take care of your father, and I feel a little offended by that. No, Eden, you're misunderstanding me. That's not what I meant at all. I believe that you have seen with your own eyes how well I have always taken care of Henry throughout the years. I undertake the daily tasks of cooking his meals, ironing and laundering his clothes, cleaning the bedroom, and ensuring that his workroom is spotless. I could ask the maids to do all the housework, but I don't want to. I think it's important for me to be a hands-on wife and take care of my husband myself. Zoe, I don't want to say this out loud, but I knew that you disliked me from the very first day I set foot in Henry's house. Is that correct? Well, I don't blame you. It's a bad reputation that stepmothers always have to bear on their shoulders. Eden, I'm sorry. It is true that I didn't have a good feeling about you marrying my dad from the start because I thought it was a hasty decision. But as I came to know you better, I came to realize that you truly love and care for my father. In fact, you were the one who strongly opposed my father's decision of forcing me to move out of his house due to certain misunderstandings between us, and I'm really grateful for that. I want to know more about my dad's condition, but that doesn't mean I don't trust you to take care of him. Those are two different things. Fine, honey. I'll give you Dr. Brown's contact. But don't worry too much. As I said, me and Dr. Brown have everything under control. Zoe, honey, I feel as though I've been stabbed by 100 knives in my heart. I cannot believe it happened so quickly. What is it, Eden? Is it about my dad? Yes, darling. Henry passed away peacefully in his sleep. This morning, when I entered his room, I noticed that he was no longer breathing. I immediately called Dr. Brown, who arrived shortly thereafter and conducted a thorough examination. He confirmed that your father had no signs of life. I am so sorry for your loss, Zoe. I know how you must be feeling at the moment, and I am feeling the same way. Oh, Father! So this day has finally come. I really don't know what to say right now other than thanking you for being by my dad's side during his last days of living. This is an extremely heartbreaking situation, and none of us would have wished for this. I understand that this is a difficult time for you, and I want to assure you that I have already taken care of the funeral arrangements. Your father's funeral will be held at his mansion within 1 week. It'll be a discreet one among family members, just as your father's will. I will inform you of the exact date and time as soon as it's finalized. I got it. Thank you for taking care of everything. I seriously don't know what to do without you. Did Father leave any parting words for you before he passed away? Henry was a thoughtful and prudent man, as you know. He had already carefully planned everything, including who would inherit his estate, a According to his will, I, his legal wife, will be the sole beneficiary of his belongings and financial assets. This decision is clearly stated in his testament, and I am confident that you will not contest it. I'm sorry, Zoe, but you will not receive a single penny from your father. I find it weird that he didn't leave me anything in his will. I'm his daughter, and he loves me just as much as he loves you. He even hid his illness from me to protect me. I don't think he would have left me out of his will on purpose. Zoe, just accept that you no longer have a place in Henry's heart. I have been his primary caregiver for many years, and he has come to rely on me more than on you. You may not realize it, but the bond between you and Henry has weakened over time. In fact, he may have stopped caring for you altogether. That is why he decided to leave me all of his assets. He knew that I am the person who deserves them the most. No! It's simply not true what you said. My father's love for me has never diminished, even after my mother's death. The last time we saw each other, he treated me with the same warmth and kindness that he always has. I can confidently state that my father's love for me is unwavering and everlasting. You may continue to cling to your delusion about your father, but you cannot deny the fact that I am the rightful heir to Henry's vast fortune. If you have any objections to your father's will, you are welcome to come to my house and I will show you the testament that he personally wrote. I am confident that you will be able to identify his handwriting and signature very quickly. Admit it, Zoe. Now you're nothing more than a pitiful and abject failure. And me? After all those years of enduring that disgusting old man, I can finally achieve my goal, to acquire his fortune and a lot of it. What? What do you mean? Are you implying that you married my father solely for his wealth? I find your old father so disgusting that I have to hold back from throwing up every time I have to sleep with him. Do you really think that a beautiful young woman like me would be with your father because I loved him? That's the most ridiculous joke I've ever heard in my entire life. What? So you're saying that all of the years you spent caring for my father were nothing more than a calculated and deceitful ploy to gain control of his vast fortune? I was totally convinced that your words and actions were genuine. I believed that you were truly committed to watching over my father's well-being. Oh, honey, these sorts of performances are child's play for me. You believe that I was caring for your father, but the reality is that the maids were doing all the work for me. I simply gave them some money to keep them quiet so that I could take all the credit. You must be surprised by my intellect. Am I correct? I am curious to know who else could possess both intelligence and beauty like me. Eden, you're a person of astonishing shamelessness, greed, and despicable deception. I never imagined that you would be the kind of person. I had believed that you truly cared for my father and that your intentions were genuine. The thought of how you pretended to be nice to me and my dad makes me shiver. And by the way, sorry that I got you kicked out of the house. I would be surprised if you didn't miss the days when you lived in your father's grand mansion, now that you've been reduced to living in a tiny rented house. I can only imagine how cramped and uncomfortable it must be for you after being accustomed to such luxury. Well, it is a life that you have earned, one that is fitting for a little brat like you. What? You were the one who orchestrated my being kicked out of the house? Who else could it have been? You were angry at your father for not letting you go out with your bad friends. So I took advantage of the situation and snuck into your father's workroom and burned his important documents to ashes. Afterwards, I took your father's phone and texted you to come into the room. Hardly had you stepped foot into the room when your father came in, catching you red-handed in the midst of the compelling crime scene. Now that I think about it, I still can't understand why my father was so certain that my friends were delinquents. It was you who planted those ideas in his head, wasn't it? Oh, I thought that someone as dull as you wouldn't be able to grasp the situation so quickly. But bingo! You got that right. Prior to that, you were also involved in a number of other incidents, such as stealing your father's money, throwing away your father's wedding ring, or destroying his wedding photos with me. Of course, all of these troubles were orchestrated by me, and they along with the incident in which your father's documents were burned, are more than enough reasons for you to be excluded from the house. You were the one behind all of this? I cannot believe that I was so foolish not to see it. To think that I felt indebted to you for defending me against my father, when in reality, it was all just an act. Your character is so loathsome that I am ashamed to have ever associated with you. A wicked witch like you will not get away with your sins. You may blame me all you want, but it will not change the reality that your father gave me all of his inheritance, leaving you completely penniless. Do not be too sour, Zoe. Perhaps if you alter your conduct, I would consider giving you a chance to work as a maid in my home. Zoe, I never imagined that you could be so embittered as to not even attend your own father's funeral. I am deeply disappointed in you, Zoe. What kind of daughter are you? I was about to ask you that very question, Eden. What sort of stepmother are you to commit such a heinous act? What sort of thing are you implying, Zoe? Are you still holding a grudge against me for not getting your hands on your father's fortune? If I'm not mistaken, you're simply sitting at home plotting some evil scheme to regain your father's inheritance. Are you not? Well, sorry to say, but that won't be easy, Zoe. You know very clearly that I am the rightful owner of your father's legacy. You even saw with your own eyes your father's testament, and you can't even deny that it is your father's own handwriting. Eden, I would not be so arrogant if I were you. In fact, I suggest that you prepare to face your worst nightmare for the vile crime that you committed against my father. What crime are you referring to? Are you perhaps fantasizing again? Don't attempt to deceive me with your pretense of innocence. I know everything. You coerced my father into signing a will that leaves all of his assets to you. Your boyfriend held a gun to his head while he was signing the document. Subsequently, you confined my father and Dr. Davis in the basement to prevent anyone from ever learning of your wrongdoing. What boyfriend? Seriously, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Your father is dead. Stop deceiving yourself into believing that he's still alive. It's ridiculous, you know that. If you had attended the funeral, you would have seen your father's body in the coffin, but you declined to do so. Please, Eden, stop pretending. I know everything about your evil plan to hurt my father and steal his money. In fact, Dr. Brown is actually your boyfriend, Scott. He has assumed the identity of Dr. Brown in order to stay close to you. If I'm not mistaken, you had intended to marry him had things gone according to your initial plans. What? Don't just level such an accusation against me without any proof to support it. Do you seriously believe that I will allow you to continue defaming me in this manner? I'm calling the police. How dare you deny your crime and ask for evidence? My father and Dr. Davis are the living proof of your wrongdoing. I found them tied up in the basement of my father's mansion, and I was able to free them. The police will soon find out about you and Scott's crime of kidnapping. You should prepare for that. It's useless to deny it because Scott has already confessed. How could he have been so foolish? I refuse to believe it. Don't try to trick me. I won't fall for it. There's no way that Scott would admit everything. I suspected something was wrong from the start, so I asked Dr. Brown for my father's medical records. I found out that he prescribed the drug that my dad was allergic to, which only me and Dr. Davis knew about. I investigated and found out that Dr. Brown is a fraud with no medical knowledge. He eventually pleaded guilty to his crimes and said that you were his accomplice. What? How could Scott be so stupid to commit that simple mistake? I knew that I could never put my trust in that useless man. Don't just blame your boyfriend for your plan failing. You also messed up. That gave me the perfect chance to sneak in and rescue my dad and Dr. Davis from the basement. No! It's unbelievable that someone as dull as you could have figured out my plan so easily. I cannot believe any of this. Eden, you are a liar and a cheat. You pretended to be a good wife and caregiver to my father, but you were actually having an affair with Scott. Dr. Davis found out about your affair with Scott and told my father. You and Scott were scared, so you attacked them and locked both Dr. Davis and my father in the basement. No, please stop talking. I've heard enough. In a subsequent act of desperation, you and Scott devised a meticulously crafted scheme to conceal your crime. You claimed that my father was seriously ill and even faked his funeral in an attempt to throw off suspicion. The figure that lies in the coffin is not my dad's corpse, but a wax effigy that has been crafted with painstaking precision. Furthermore, I also found out that you hadn't even informed the state about my father's death. So there's no way that my father's death was real. Oh no, I can't believe I figured it all out. Please do not turn me into the authorities. I didn't want to do what I did, but your father left me no choice. He threatened to disinherit me and leave everything to you. I was afraid of having to give up the lifestyle that was funded by wealth and privilege, which I had been enjoying all the time. What could I do in that situation? Henry forced my hand. It was not my fault. I would do anything to make it up to you and your father. I would go away and never bother you again. I would give up everything I've just to be forgiven. Please, I'm begging you. Don't call the police. I'm not a bad person. I was just trying to survive. Please give me another chance. After the dreadful crimes you committed, now you would still dare to claim that you are not a bad person? Your actions against my father were utterly unforgivable and you deserve the most severe punishments. The police are already on their way to arrest you. And don't even think for a moment that you will be able to escape justice. After a lengthy investigation, the police finally apprehended Eden and her lover, Scott, for their heinous crimes of illegal captivity and fraud. The two were subsequently tried and convicted, and each sentenced to 7 years in prison. This sentence is a just and fitting punishment for their cruel and unscrupulous actions. Upon being liberated from their imprisonment, my father and Dr. Davis showered me with praise for my keenness in solving the case. My father also expressed his regret for not heeding my counsel in the first instance and forcing me to move out of his house. He then extended an invitation for me and my spouse to relocate to the mansion and reside with him. Ultimately, it was not my father who was at fault for the events that transpired. Rather, it was my wicked stepmother who was having an extramarital affair and subsequently devised a plan to seize my father's fortune. In the end, justice was served. Although what happened to my father and me was disheartening, it also served to strengthen our bond as father and daughter. It is always essential to never give up on the people we care about and to be willing to open our hearts when they offer us a sincere apology for the mistakes they made in the past.
So, Hebel, you think you're pretty clever, huh? How come you get to live in that big house by yourself?
Orla, I'm not sure I understand where this is coming from. Why are you asking me out of the blue?
I had a conversation with Max the other day, and he said that you're living alone in your parents' house.
Well, that's true. My parents decided to retire to the countryside for a more relaxed lifestyle, so I'm currently living there by myself.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You're so sneaky. You're only 20, and it's quite unusual for someone your age to live alone in such a big house. It's a bit weird, honestly.
What do you mean by that?
Most people at your age live in small apartments, especially in the city. A house that size is typically meant for an older individual or a family with kids. Not a single person like you.
If that's the case, why don't you consider buying a house or building your own? Olivia is about to start school soon, right? Why don't you and my brother find a suitable place and build the house you desire? It seems like a good idea to me.
Are you kidding? Do you know how expensive it is to build a house? It would cost a fortune, especially in the city. Besides, Max will be working overseas for a while, so I can't possibly build a house without him. It's a major decision, and there's so much to do. I need him here.
Yes, I knew he was going to be overseas for a while.
Exactly. So I've been thinking that my daughter and I should have the house. It just makes sense. We could move in this week. I understand it might be challenging for you to find a new place, but if you could leave as soon as possible, that would be great.
Wait, what?
I know it's the house you grew up in, but it doesn't make sense for a single person to occupy such a large house. It's a luxury for you, but it's a wasted space. So you need to hand over the keys and pack your bags. There aren't many houses like that left in the city, and they should be reserved for families with children, don't you think?
I don't understand how you can think that. I inherited the house from my parents. It's my house.
It does make sense. Besides, I've already decided. I'm your older brother's wife. And as the older one, you should do what I tell you.
Seriously? You must be kidding.
Furthermore, there's no need to make a fuss about it. The house is also Max's. He grew up there too. It's only natural that his wife and daughter live there. We have just as much right to be there as anyone else. I'm sure your parents would be happy to have their son's wife and granddaughter living there. They would want us to be taken care of, especially while Max is away.
And what am I supposed to do if you kick me out?
Get an apartment like any other single person in the city. You've always lived in your parents' house, haven't you? It would be good for you to experience living on your own for a while. It'll give you some practice for real life and teach you to stand on your own 2 feet, to take care of yourself.
I am perfectly capable of taking care of myself. Even when my parents were here, I contributed to the household chores. I cooked, ran errands, did a lot of cleaning and laundry. I earn my own salary and manage my life. I don't need any practice. I already do everything.
You say that, but it's different when you're on your own. Living in your parents' house is just easier, considering the little things. Living alone is a completely different experience. You don't truly know what it's like until you've tried it. It's crucial for personal growth and self-discovery. If you never give it a try, how will you ever know?
Orla, last time I checked, you've never lived alone either. I'm pretty sure you lived with your parents until you married my brother. And then you got pregnant immediately after getting married. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you have never experienced living alone in your entire life.
This isn't about me, and it doesn't matter. From now on, we will be living in that house. I need you to hurry up, gather your belongings, and leave. We'll be moving in shortly, and I want you go.
Max, we need to talk. I just had a talk with Orla and she's treating me horribly. She's not just asking, but demanding that I hand over the house.
Oh, she spoke to you? She was asking me about the future of the house.
What are you saying? Did you know anything about this?
The truth is, I was approached by the company to handle some responsibilities in one of their foreign offices. It was unexpected, and I actually left last month. I'll be extremely busy and won't be able to return home for about 2 years. I felt that the house we were renting was too big for just the 2 of us. It required a lot of maintenance, including the yard, and it was expensive for just a couple. It made more sense to find something more affordable, like a townhome. I set aside a substantial amount of money for them to move and cover rent. I put around $20,000 into an account specifically for that purpose.
$20,000? Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I know, but you know Orla. She enjoys the finer things in life. She took Olivia shopping and they spent it all. They went on a shopping spree. She used up all the money I had set aside to help them move.
Oh my, you're joking. They blew $20,000 just on shopping? What on earth did they buy?
Naturally, I got very angry. I mean, it's probably a good thing I wasn't there. Otherwise, I might have lost my temper. But Orla turned it around. She went crazy, demanding that I find her a free house. I started shouting and even cried. It was like she had a complete breakdown. I thought it was impossible. There's no such thing as a free house, right? But then she started bringing up Mom and Dad's place.
I understand that she's putting a lot of pressure on you, and it must be stressful trying to find a new place for them to live.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with her. But the more I think about it, the more I realize she might have a point. Now that our parents have moved out, it does make sense for my family to move in. I know you won't like this, but come on, Hebel. I need you to move out and let them take the house.
What? Hold on a minute. Have you lost your mind? Are you seriously taking her side?
Come on, what are you talking about, taking sides? I'm simply asking you to help my wife. We're family, and you should try to help her while I'm away. It's kind of your duty as my sister.
Oh no, it isn't. It's not my responsibility to get involved in your arguments or solve your problems. The house belongs to me, and I don't need any roommates. There's no way I'm giving up my home.
Well, you should have informed me that you were planning to take the house instead. I had to hear it from Mom and Dad. They told me that since they moved out, you would be living there all alone. That's pretty sneaky, don't you think? I know you do.
And what exactly does that mean?
You've been living in our parents' house rent-free, that's what it means. Mom and Dad paid the mortgage and taxes, and you got to live there without spending a dime. However you look at it, it's sneaky and unfair.
Say what you want about me, but I won't change my mind.
I've worked really hard, you know. I've built a life for myself, started a family, and here you are single, just starting out and living an easy life. It's not fair that everything comes so effortlessly to you. That's why I want you to leave. You need to hand over the keys to my family. We're taking the house. Then you'll see what it's really like to be on your own. You'll get a taste of the realities of life and how challenging it can be.
Wow, I had no idea you felt that way.
If they live in the house, they won't have to worry about rent or a mortgage. We'll be able to save money and have some extra for expenses. We've always dreamt of having a beautiful home of our own, and now it won't just be a fantasy. The company is covering all the expenses while I'm abroad, and I'll have a generous allowance. By the time I return, we'll have saved a significant amount. We can build our dream house wherever we want. So I need you to be the supportive sister and help me with this decision.
Hey, Hebel. I know you're busy with work, so I hate to interrupt, but I wanted to let you know that we accidentally locked ourselves out of the house. Thankfully, we found an extra key to get in.
Oh, what happened?
Well, Max still had his old keys and we got lucky. We've managed to move our stuff inside, so it's official. We'll be living in the house from now on. Thanks.
Hold on a moment. Don't talk down to me as if you've accomplished something. You're being selfish and disrespectful.
I'm not being selfish. Max and I both feel that we should live here. We deserve it since he grew up here too.
It doesn't matter if he agrees with you or not. That house is mine, and I strongly disagree. Stop acting like you own the place because you don't.
You're one to talk. You're living here as well. And yet you act like you own the place. How is that any different from me? It's your parents' house, right? So it's only fair that your brother's family gets to live here, just like you've been doing.
No, the house is solely mine. I'm sorry, but I'm asking you to pack up your things and leave. I want you out of my house.
Hate to break it to you, but it's actually you who will be leaving. In fact, I've already put all your things in boxes and placed them on the curb. You should come and collect them as soon as you can get away from work.
What? You threw out my belongings? What do you mean?
I mean exactly what I said. I packed up your things and threw them outside. I kept the furniture because I like some of them, but the rest is gone.
You're lying. It's pouring rain outside. How could you throw my things out in the rain? Who would do such a thing?
Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Your things are going to get wet. You'll need to find a warm place to dry them once you collect them.
I can't believe this. Is this really who you are? Are you so selfish that you would throw everything I own from my own home and leave it out in the rain like garbage? I've never encountered someone as selfish as you in my entire life.
Excuse me, I've been telling you to leave for a week. I gave you enough time to pack up and go. This is all your own fault if you think about it. I feel sorry for you, but it is what it is. We live here now, and you don't. An apartment would suit you better. You're young and single. You'll find something more suitable for your style, something cheap and small.
Okay, I'm leaving now.
Good. Your things are on the curb, so please collect them and get out of my sight. It looks unsightly to have all that stuff piled up in front of the house, and I don't think the garbage truck will be coming today.
You don't have to rub it in. Actually, it doesn't matter that you threw my things out. In fact, it might have done me a favor. I wasn't planning on going back to the house today, now that I think about it.
Of course you weren't. It's not your home anymore. It's mine. If you had just left when I asked, it wouldn't have come to this. I pity you losing your home and belongings. Poor thing.
Oh, by the way, the water service is going to be shut off soon. Today, actually.
What?
And the electricity, too. I've already spoken to the power company, and they're going to cut it off as well. It might already be off, but it's scheduled for this afternoon. Since there won't be water or power for a while, you might want to consider going to a hotel to take a shower. Or do you have a gym membership? You could shower there.
No water or power in the entire house?
Oh, I forgot to mention, the kitchen flooring is all pulled up. It's being replaced, but the new flooring hasn't been installed yet, so it's just bare boards in there. Be careful.
I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's quite a mess right now. No floors, no power, no water. But good luck with your meals. You might have to rely on takeout. There are a few other areas of the house under construction as well. If you need any information, you should probably talk to the construction crew. The contractor in charge can provide you with the most details.
What are you talking about?
Well, now that I've been kicked out, I'm not entirely sure.
Wait, hold on. I don't understand what's happening. The utilities are turned off? The kitchen is completely torn apart. What's going on? What have you done?
You let yourself in, didn't you? You're there now, right? You can see it for yourself. The house is undergoing renovations. Construction was supposed to start tomorrow, early in the morning.
Are you serious? As soon as we arrived, I started gathering your things to move them out. I haven't even been in the kitchen. I didn't notice anything at all.
You must have been quite focused on throwing my stuff out if you missed the obvious signs.
But why is it being remodeled? Max never mentioned anything about this.
I can do what I want with my own house. I don't need anyone's permission or approval. I've told you countless times that the house is mine. The property, the house, everything. You can check the deed and titles. My name is on all of them.
Really? I thought this house belonged to your parents. Don't they own it?
They used to. However, when they decided to move out of the city, they knew they wouldn't be returning. Since I always loved this house and the area, it made sense for me to buy it. After that, I wanted to make a few changes, modernize it, and add my personal touch to make it truly mine. I decided to DIY some of the smaller projects to have some fun and save money. But some tasks were too difficult for me to handle alone, so I hired professionals for the more complicated work. I want to ensure it's done correctly. However, I didn't expect to be kicked out of my own home during the construction process. It's quite chaotic at this point.
You said the construction was scheduled for tomorrow. So you mean the house is still unfinished? I haven't had a chance to look around properly.
Yes, that's correct. Isn't it obvious? Take a look in the kitchen and try turning on the water in the bathrooms. Until the remodeling is complete, there won't be any power, water, or gas. The kitchen floors are still pulled up, and I don't think the cabinets have doors yet, come to think of it.
Oh my god, you've ruined it! What a mess. Nobody can live like this. It's uninhabitable.
Well, if you're looking for a house with no floors, power, or water, here's your chance. Feel free to stay in my house. I know I didn't want you to live there, but I'm feeling generous today and willing to let you stay rent-free. Enjoy.
You think you're so clever, don't you? Cut it out. Who would want to live in a place like this? Why don't you go find your perfect little house? There are plenty of already remodeled ones available. Or if you're going to remodel this one, have them hurry up and finish it so we can move in properly.
Absolutely not. I was happily renovating it for myself, but I won't put in all the hard work and pay for the remodeling just for some freeloaders to enjoy. If you want the construction to continue while you're there, you'll have to handle it yourselves. And of course, you'll have to cover the costs, too.
How dare you speak to me like that? I am your older brother's wife. Do you really think it's appropriate to speak to your superior in such a manner?
I don't see you that way at all. From what I can tell, you're just someone who's after money and unwilling to share.
How dare you? Take that back.
I'm so sorry, but try to understand my perspective, won't you? I've been working hard on DIY projects every day after work, putting in sweat equity to create my dream home. And after all that effort, all that hard work, the house was taken away from me. Can't you see why I feel like you're a thief? Why I'd consider you selfish and unkind?
You! Don't you talk to me like that. We'll be leaving. We wouldn't be caught dead living in such a mess.
Really? Do you mean it? I'd be thrilled if you left.
I'm going to tell Max everything. What you've done, how you've ruined the house, and your rude behavior. I'll talk to him right now. Just wait and see.
Hey, I heard what you said to Orla. How could you speak to her like that? She's my wife.
Wow, and how can you two treat me this way? I'm your sister, for crying out loud. I never expected you guys to actually try and take my house.
How come the house is in your name? What's the deal with that? How did you end up with the house all to yourself? It was Mom and Dad's. It should belong to both of us. What sneaky scheme did you pull off to get it?
Are you still calling me sneaky? After everything you guys have done, how am I the sneaky one? There was nothing sneaky about me getting the house. I've told you time and again. Mom and Dad had a conversation with me, and they wanted to ensure equal distribution between us. It was important to them and to me. I didn't just inherit it for free. They sold it to me. And do you have any idea how much money they spent on you? Just you? You've been attending private schools since middle school. And on top of that, think about how much they spent on your clubs, sports. Probably a dozen or more that you started and quit when you got bored or weren't any good. They covered all the tuition, fees, bought uniforms, everything. That alone cost far more money than you can imagine.
What does that have to do with anything?
It has everything to do with it. While you were in private school, I was in public school the whole time. I never asked them to buy me expensive sports equipment or musical instruments. I always used the piano at school. Compared to you, I barely used any money at all. Dad noticed this disparity, and before retiring, he wanted to balance things between us. That's why he sold me the house at a fair price.
Balancing things between us, what does that even mean?
Dad explained that he spent nearly $100,000 more on your education and all your extracurricular activities. He wanted to make things fair, and that's why he gave me a good deal on the house. I wanted to buy the house, and he felt it was the perfect way to equalize things between us.
That doesn't feel fair to me at all. It's like we were playing a game where I was blindfolded and you had both eyes open. You cheated. If I had known I could get the house, I would have chosen a cheaper school and less expensive hobbies too.
If you have an issue with this, why don't you talk to our parents instead of taking it out on me? They can explain everything to you. They've kept meticulous records for years, and they told me that's how they knew how much they spent on you. They've offered to go through it and explain everything. I'm sure they'd be happy to discuss it with you now. I never knew about it and never asked, honestly. But it seems they paid for most of your wedding as well.
Well, about that.
Now, if you have all this free time to sit around complaining to me, why don't you use it to find a house for your wife and child? At this rate, they might end up homeless.
You don't need to worry about it. They've already found a better place to live. One of Orla's good friends is letting them stay at their house. You complain about her, but my wife has some really great friends.
Really? Are you sure about that good friend? Because I happened to make a few loops around the neighborhood. I came straight from work to check on the house and make sure everything was okay. Anyway, I was nearby when Orla and Olivia came out of the house. I saw a young guy pull up in his car and pick them up. It was evident they knew each other because he put his arm around her. I just thought you should know.
What? Are you serious? Did you recognize him? Who was he?
How would I know? But I guess you don't have to worry. If Orla says he's just a friend, then I suppose he is just a friend. Either way, we can consider our issues settled. She's left and the house is mine again, so there's nothing left to worry about. Good luck with your job and enjoy your time abroad.
Hebel, I really need your help. Can you please let me in?
What's going on? I'm really busy today with my DIY projects around the house since I don't have work.
It's Max. He's here. He came back so suddenly and I had no idea he was coming.
Oh, I don't understand why that's a problem.
He caught me cheating. I have no clue how he found out, but he showed up at the house where I've been staying. He had divorce papers with him and shoved them in my face right then and there. He said he doesn't want a cheating woman.
Well, say what you will about my brother, but when he sets his mind to something, he really gets it done. I admit I'm even a little surprised at how quickly he managed to come home and put those papers together.
Surprised is an understatement. I thought I would have a heart attack when I saw him standing in the doorway.
Oh, you poor thing. It must have been so hard for you. Well, I hope you signed it.
Of course I signed it. He told me that if I didn't agree to the divorce outright, he'd sue for custody, and then I'd have to pay child support. What was I supposed to do? That's why I'm reaching out to you now. Please, let my daughter and me come live with you.
Why?
My boyfriend threw us out. He broke up with me as soon as my husband confronted us. He didn't have a choice. Max got him fired. My boyfriend was the vice principal of the Catholic school downtown. Max called him a hypocrite and a sinner, and he was fired on the spot. He had to break up with me to avoid making it worse. We don't have anywhere to go.
Well, that's funny. You certainly didn't want to live in my house before.
Please, we may be divorced, but I'll have custody of our daughter. I'll be receiving some child support, and I can give you half of that each month to cover our living expenses and rent. We can also help you with your DIY project. We can be very handy if given the chance. Please, let us come live with you.
No, I don't think I will. Please never come to my house, not even to visit.
What are you saying? Are you really going to throw me and my poor sweet daughter aside like yesterday's garbage?
Actually, yes. I have no desire to help you after everything you've done to me. Honestly, I want nothing to do with you at all. I don't need your help either. The remodeling should be finished next month, and when I have my perfect little dream house, I have no intention of letting any woman into it.
Wait, just a minute. Please, I'm begging you. I don't have anyone. My parents are dead and I don't have any siblings. I don't have anyone I can ask for help.
Well, then you'd better get a job, shouldn't you? If nothing else, do it for your daughter. Get your act together for her. With your bold attitude, you can work pretty much anywhere. I'm sure you'll find something. Good luck. After a long time, the divorce between Max and Orla was finally resolved. Max gained custody of the children. Due to her financial situation, Orla had to find a job with a salary just enough to sustain her life. Max was fired and had to return to his home country because of his negligence and multiple mistakes, which led to my parents having to take care of his children. The divorce truly destroyed his career. As for me, my job is becoming more stable and prosperous. I have been entrusted with more important positions.